Maverick News, the antivirus program for your mind. And now, the Freedom Reporters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Walker. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Hello, Maverick family. Big night for hockey fans and Canadians and for Floridians. It's the Oilers versus the Panthers. Game 7, Stanley Cup playoffs. Boy, we haven't seen a series like this in a long time. And we're going to go to the streets. We're going to find out what the mood is like. We're going to find out what people are thinking. We're going to talk to John Scotty Rimby. We're going to talk to Dragon tonight, not only about hockey, but also about the festival that is going on down there in Montreal. Another one, a new one. And we'll also talk about a little bit of politics with him. Plus, speaking of politics, there is this Toronto St. Paul's by-election on tonight. The polls have been open all day long. It is a test for the Trudeau government. It is seen by some as a bellwether of sorts, an indication of what the mood of the voters is like, an indication of what might come in the next federal election. And it looks like this liberal stronghold might be in danger of falling into conservative hands, much to the delight of many who view Justin Trudeau as the main source of the nation's problems. But he isn't out of it yet. We might have a little time to talk about these shiny monoliths that are popping up all over the world, and we'll tell you what has happened most recently with the one out in Nevada. Benjamin Netanyahu doubling down on his feud over arms shipments from the United States to Israel. Bankruptcy proceedings ongoing with InfoWars. We may have a little time to talk about that this evening. The family of Hirsch Goldberg Polin, an American citizen who was kidnapped on October 7th, explained today why they wanted video of his kidnapping released. It has been making quite an impression on social media. It has gone viral. We may share more information about that. And cyber attacks nationwide on car dealerships, causing havoc over the past week and continuing to do so. Chrystia Freeland, Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, talking also about the auto industry today, about Chinese imports. She's realizing what she's finally cluing into, what I've been saying here for the last couple of years, maybe longer, probably even longer, that competition from China is putting the entire vision, government vision for an electrified auto industry in jeopardy. I'll explain more about that. And the guy who used to be the mayor of Calgary, now claiming the crown for the Alberta NDP, well, I'm looking back a little bit on that guy, and I remember what he was like when he was the mayor. And I'm going to remind everybody where he was at during the pandemic. So we've got all that and more coming up right here on the Maverick News Channel. Stay with me. We've got all that, and if we have time, before the game starts, we might even go to the phones and give you guys an opportunity to weigh in on the Edmonton Oilers versus Florida Panthers conversation.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big night. The Stanley Cup will go either to Florida or to Alberta, to Edmonton or to the home of the Panthers. The game begins in about an hour. We probably will be on a little longer than 8 p.m., but I know a lot of people want to watch that game. So we may cut the broadcast here a little bit shorter than normal. But don't you worry, we're going to get you the news and the information of the day. So Edmonton is looking to become the fifth NHL team ever to come back all the way from a 3-0 playoff series deficit. And the odds makers, well, they've determined that this is pretty much a toss-up. The momentum, I would say, is on Edmonton's side, but the Panthers have home ice advantage tonight. Everybody is looking at Connor McDavid, and yet he didn't even get a shot on goal in Game 6 when the Oilers pulled out a 5-1 win. Now, on the other side, the Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky, gave up 4 goals. 86 shots on net in the last game. In games 1-3, and has surrendered 12 and 58 in games 4-6. So, it wasn't long ago, and everybody was down on the dumps. They thought, well, if you were an Edmonton fan, thought that the Panthers were on their way maybe to a sweep. They were ahead 3-0. They only needed to win 1 more. And now it's evened up. Tonight it's for all the marbles, and it's for keeps. Keepsies going all the way. What's it like out on the streets? Well, this game tonight is in Florida, but in Edmonton, fans are out in full force around the arena, out on the town. The bars are packed. This is what it looks like on the streets out in Edmonton. And it isn't just at Edmonton, especially in Alberta. The bars are overflowing, and even across Canada, emotions are at a fever pitch tonight. This is history in the making, one way or another. Look at the lineups just to get into venues where the game is going to be shown tonight. And of course, the spirits are flowing, spirits are high. And the wings, the chicken wings, are in the deep fryer, cooking already. Now, I went out onto the streets in my hometown and then combined that with some photos that John Scotty Rimby sent to us when he's been out on the scene, getting some pictures of people in the bars and in the establishments out there to get us a sense of what the mood is like. Well, I'll share it with you now. This is the way it is in Canada tonight, just ahead of Game 7 Stanley Cup Final.
How you doing? Hockey game tonight. Are you going to watch the hockey game?
Of course.
And who's going to win? Who are you rooting for?
Well, you know, we're Canadians. Come on.
That's right, yeah.
Go Edmonton.
Yeah, thank you. Hi there.
Hi there.
Are you going to watch the hockey game tonight?
Yes.
And who are you rooting for?
Oilers. Go Oilers.
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't watch hockey?
I'm not watch hockey.
You don't watch hockey? All right, well, Stanley Cup Finals.
No problem. So I just watch cricket. What
okay.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of people watch cricket too.
yes, so I don't watch hockey game.
But
All right.
hopefully the good guys win.
There you go. See ya.
Sorry.
Good. I'm just wondering, are you going to watch the hockey game tonight?
Edmonton?
Edmonton and the
Okay.
Panthers.
Fucking hey, man. Fuck yeah. Hopefully Connor McJesus fucking puts it away.
Yeah. What about you? Are you interested in the game, or are you just tolerating it?
I don't want that.
Have a good one, buddy.
All right. See you, man. What about you? You watching the hockey game tonight?
Of course.
And what do you think's going to happen?
I hope we're gonna take it home.
Are you going to watch the hockey game tonight?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Have you been following it? What do you think?
Yes and no. I am a Leafs fan, but I like the Oilers more than I like Florida.
Well, that makes you a good Canadian.
Well, let's take it back. I like the Oilers better than I like Brady or Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah, it'll be. We live in Kansas now.
Oh, okay.
It's a hockey wasteland.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we managed to latch onto the ABC feed,
Oh,
and we've been enjoying the finals.
yeah, yeah. So what's your prediction?
It's going to go 3 periods. I think it'll be the Oilers, but it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be an 8-1 blowout. I just don't think so.
All right.
And I think Draisaitl gets the winner.
Okay, thank you.
Take
See ya.
care.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Hasn't been a series like this one in a long time.
Yeah. 30
Yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
like, we didn't have it actually. Stanley Cup, right?
That's right.
30 years.
That's 1997, I think, is when the Canadians won it the last time. Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, that's what we said. It's close to 30 years.
Unbelievable. Quite the series.
Oh yeah, I watch every game.
Yeah. So.
He's not even my favorite team, but the best hockey now, right?
Yes, yes.
No, is it the I heard about the Barnstormers or something?
The Oilers.
Oh, okay,
and
no,
the
I'm not into
Panthers.
hockey. I just hear
It's the
about.
Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, I'm not into hockey. I'm sorry. Don't post
Are you
this.
Canadian?
I am Canadian.
All you have to do
yeah.
is just say, "Go Oilers," and everyone will love you.
Okay. Go Oilers!
Watching the hockey game tonight?
Oh, I'm not into hockey.
Not into hockey? No, what's wrong with this town? Are you guys watching the hockey game tonight? Stanley Cup Finals?
No, not tonight.
The last
No,
game.
Soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah, Italy.
You watching the hockey game?
Yes, I am. I'm rooting for Florida.
Florida?
Because the young guy from Tilbury is playing for Florida.
Which guy's that?
Mondour, he's an all-star defenseman.
Oh, well.
So he's from our area, so I'm rooting for him.
Dual allegiances on your puck then, right? You can't just give that guy up. You got to give him a little love, right?
Yeah, and I'm a solid Maple Leaf fan for what it's worth.
And what do you think's going to happen? Who are you rooting for?
You know what, man? I think Edmonton does it.
Yes. So what's your prediction? Give me a score. Going to overtime, Edmonton going to dominate. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know. It's like maybe, I think 3-1 for Edmonton.
I think I end my game
Stanley Cup Finals.
Probably ain't going to.
Yeah.
They're going down to what? It was like they're down 3-0, now they're coming back.
That's right. And so it's like winner takes all tonight. Game 7, last one. Whoever wins this takes the whole thing, takes the cup home.
Nice.
Who do you think's going to win, Edmonton or Florida?
I want Edmonton to win. I do want Connor McDavid. It's a crazy story going back from 3-0, so
yeah,
that's what I'm looking for.
Watching the hockey game tonight?
Yeah.
And who's going to win?
Oilers, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about hockey at all, but I think Edmonton does it. You know, they win by like 1 or 2 goals, and that's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day. Are you watching the hockey game tonight? Is anybody in your household taking over your TV to watch hockey tonight?
No, I'm sure the grandkids are. Gonna be close.
Yeah, I think so, because the Panthers have home ice advantage tonight, right?
Yeah. But I think we already figured out their goalies. So.
Yes, that's
Bobrovsky is not that strong anymore.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
See ya.
The way it is out on the streets across Canada tonight. And joining us live right now is the man, our Edmonton Oilers correspondent, John Scotty Rimby. What are you doing there, John? It sounds like you're having a nasal attack. Are you okay?
Well, no, I'm all good. I'm all good. Thank you so much for those incredible pictures. I got to give a shout out to my friend. You put his pictures up. His name is Ralph, and he's blind in one eye, and I'm blind as well. Thank you so much for giving disabled people a hand up in the world. Wow, the city is electric. It's crazy. Look, it's crazy. Connor McDavid, number 18, Hyman, Zach. We're going crazy, my friend. Everybody's been drunk since the other night, bro.
Well,
they're still drunk on the streets.
Yeah, well, that's because, and that means that most of them are blind in both eyes.
Well, no, actually, Rick, when Ralph is blind in his right eye, and I'm blind in my left eye. So when you put the two together on a bar stool at On the Rocks, Jasper Avenue, 109C, we can see something. We're all good. It's Wonder Bar. Wonder Bar. Love you.
So what's your prediction tonight, John? What's going to happen with this game?
Rick, we're praying. We are praying to the baby Jesus and the gods for the Oilers. It can go anyway. I do have to give a big shout out. I'm part American. The Florida Panthers have been just incredible. What a team to fight and play. They are just beyond incredible team. So to all my U.S. families and friends, may God bless you. May God bless you. But, sorry, call me old-fashioned, Dave Mendeveritt. The Stanley Cup's coming back to Canada. Sorry. Sorry, call me old-fashioned. It's coming back. We're winning. Winning tonight, Rick. The Oilers are going to win it. It's a team effort, Rick. A total team. To come back, Rick, from 25 years ago to make the most incredible comeback in Stanley Cup history. This is historical, Rick. To come back down 3-0 and come back and it's, you know, the gods are favoring us tonight in Edmonton. Go Edmonton, go. Go Edmonton, go. I love everybody. And I'm not a hockey guy, but Ryan Howe helped me out with it from Kingston, so it's all good.
Okay, well, there you go. John Scotty Rimby, our man on the scene, kind of watching things, and I'm not sure what we're going to get with this tonight, but if there are updates that are required, we will get back in touch with John and get his commentary.
Well, Rick, can I have a final thought?
Yeah.
A final thought. This has been the most incredible Stanley Cup series in 35 years. Don Cherry said that, Ron McLean. This is unbelievable. It's off the roadmap for a team to come back 3 games down. And you know what? Win, lose, or draw. Win, lose, or draw, Rick, the Maverick News family around the world. We love you from Canada and Alberta, and we're winners. We're all winners, and Florida are winners too. It's been an incredible game. Stanley Cup series. Like, Rick, just unbelievable. Rick. How good. Oh, Rick, Rick, I'm going to pee my panties. It's so good. The streets are just electrified. And in Edmonton, just on fire.
So your pants are on fire. You pee your pants? No.
I pee
Okay.
my pants
Oh
on
no,
fire, and
no,
they're
don't.
on fire
Okay.
With a forest fire.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
All right.
It's so good.
This sports coverage is so bad. It's good.
Rick, in the world
I've never heard either Ron McLean or Don Cherry ever say that they were so excited they were going to pee their pants. So that's another first for the Maverick News Channel.
I'm not Ron McLean. I'm Rudy John Scotty, and I'm going to send the oil jet for you, Rick, when we win the cup.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring you back,
All right.
Mr. Trump.
All right.
Love you.
Thank you, John.
Love you.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
I love you.
Okay. Love you too. Bye. Bye, John. Okay. We'll talk to you later. Bye. All right. That was John. John Scotty Rimby. Okay. Anybody if you want to call in, I'll put the number up. You can phone, and I'll put you on if you want to talk about the hockey game in the next, few minutes here, because this is a pregame call-in show. So here's the number. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, I am back, and if you want to call, the number is on the bottom of the screen. That will actually work in Canada and the United States. But we're going to move on and talk about other news of the day. Dragon, I think, is going to be joining us at some point live tonight as well from Montreal. We have a lot of other stories. We have this Toronto by-election on tonight. Polls will be closing, I think, soon. I think they close in a half an hour, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a test for the Trudeau Liberals. And it is supposed to be, well, all the polling shows that it is a close race indeed. So this is in the riding of Toronto-St. Paul's. It's a by-election that, as I say, some perceive as a referendum on the Prime Minister. And here's the other John. I had a feeling you were going to call in tonight.
Yeah, I'm having TV problems.
Uh-oh. What's wrong with your TV?
I was with Bell. They're a bunch of crooks.
Yeah, okay. Well, we knew that.
My remote doesn't work, so I told them, and luckily when the other Bell repairman was here, I told him if I could keep the remote. He says, keep it. And he took just the box back.
Uh-huh.
And now they want $30 for a remote. After a year, they charge you. I said, "But you never told me that in the contract when I signed up."
Okay.
It's your equipment, and you're going to charge me for your equipment?
Well, this seems like a sidebar story, but it must be related to the hockey game. Is that what you're calling about?
Well, now I got another remote that I had from another thing. Yeah. Hockey game.
Okay. Yeah.
What's going on? Who do you like, Rick?
I'm gonna. I know what you're thinking because I got your text message about the way you bet on it today.
Oh yeah, I bet large.
Yeah, but I'm on the opposite side. I think that the Edmonton Oilers will win.
I want Edmonton to win.
Yeah.
I'm a Canadian. I would like to see Edmonton win, but I'm a gambler, and I have to. I'm going for the winning horse. Put it that way.
Hmm. And why do you think that Florida will win tonight?
Well, I'll tell you something. Florida won the first two games at home. Easy, hands over down, boom. Kicked them right off the ice. Edmonton didn't know what hit them. They went back to Edmonton. They won the first game. They were up 3-0. And after that, the fix came in. Sports is fixed. You got Bettman, you got the Mafia, and they threw Edmonton through 3 games to even the series up because they know they're going to win the fourth game at home, hands down. They're going to just blow them off. I predict 5-3 final. 5-3 final.
5-3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know that you don't believe in the purity of sports. I know that you think it's all fixed. So
I want Edmonton to win.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm all in, man. I went large. It's all their money that I'm betting, because I've been winning on baseball.
Yeah.
A lot of money on baseball. But I did lose the last 3 games.
Well, I'm sorry to say that you're slowly convincing me that you're right about the fix being in because you win so much with your betting that I'm thinking, well, you can't, you must be right because you win, disproportionately. It can't be random. You know what you're doing. So. And
I'll tell you another thing. Bettman, he doesn't want a Canadian team to win. Bettman.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. The states, they control everything. You know that. They control Canada. They tell us how to jump how high. They tell us what to do. They own us. And they don't want a Canadian team to win. And Florida's never won the cup, so let me turn the phone up a bit.
Well, that's
Florida's never won the cup, so they're going to want. And another thing is Bergeron, whatever, the coach for Florida.
Yeah.
He used to coach the Leafs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the series, he said, I've been coaching for 37 years. I've never won. This is my time. This is my time, he said twice. And he knew he had it in the bag. So it's all money making. And right now, this morning, I woke up. Listen to this. Florida was $1.83. Edmonton was $1.80 for 2 days. This morning, Florida was $1.83. Edmonton was $1.80. Right now, Edmonton's $1.70, and Florida's $1.95 or $1.91 or something. So all the money is on Edmonton right now. Tons of money. Everybody in Canada has got money on Edmonton.
Yeah.
On Proline, and every kind of Vegas, everywhere. And they're going to take your money, guys. Remember what I said. They're going to take your money.
You know, betting like this never used to happen like this when I was a kid. Do you think sports was less fixed when we were younger, or is it related to the proliferation of gambling being integrated into the tapestry of sports?
Sports has been fixed since day one. Okay, remember boxing? The old black and whites, Rocky Marciano. How many boxing matches did the mob make them throw?
Yeah.
Okay, horse racing. How many good horses did just throw the horse because there's too much money riding on it? The house never loses, Rick.
Interesting, John.
The house never loses.
You're depressing me.
but I am an Edmonton Oiler fan, and I do want a Canadian team to win. I like Edmonton. I'm not saying I don't like them. I don't like their new name. I am an Edmonton Oiler. Turn this down. Edmonton. What are they called now? Edmonton what?
The Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, Oilers. No, I'm not thinking of Edmonton now. Who was I thinking of? That was Edmonton. Edmonton was a football. Used to be Edmonton Eskimos. They had to change their name to Edmonton Antlers now because the natives don't want their Eskimo. But I'm surprised the Blackhawks, they haven't changed their names.
Yeah.
But the Cleveland Indians had to change their name. They didn't want Indians. Another Indian team had to, Washington Redskins. They had to change their name.
I don't know how we got on this subject, but did they change the name to the Edmonton Elks?
Yeah. Edmonton Elks now.
The Elks.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Elks doesn't seem like a very sporting name. When I think of an elk, I don't think of it as being, like a lion or even something aggressive like a bear or a hawk, or an eagle. I think even a blue jay is more aggressive than an elk. I've seen blue jays peck the heads off other birds practically, when they get into a fit of a rage. But an elk, what's an elk gonna do to you? Sit on you, maybe.
If you look at who's the heavy Florida, the owner, the guy's loaded. He's I'm telling you, the Oilers.
John
I tell you
says
something.
The fix is in.
This is another stat that I follow. Florida has the best goalie in the world in that. Florida has the best defense in the league. So defense and goalie always wins. Edmonton has the fastest skaters, though. They have a fast team.
Mm-hmm.
They have a fast team. They have 4 players that they're from Toronto. and the big guy, what's his name?
McDavid.
McDavid. He's from Toronto too.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll come to the Leafs one day.
Yeah, well, he didn't get a shot on net the last time. I think they've got him sort of figured out. But I think Edmonton has the Panthers goalie figured out. I think they've also been analyzing the plays, the way that the Panthers play, and I think they figured out what the Panthers were doing to neutralize their offense. So now they're working around that. That's why I think Edmonton is going to win. That combined with the fact that they have momentum on their side, the emotions on their side, and they will not be denied tonight. Canada will not be denied. Even though the House always wins, there's always an exception to the rule. And I think tonight, sir, you're going to lose your money.
700, over 700 I got on it.
Yeah, so, well, I don't wish that on you, but...
It's okay. It's not my money. It's their money that I'm playing with. But, but anyways, I'm just... There's more money on the Oilers than there is on Florida tonight. That's all I can tell you in Canada.
Yeah,
everybody I talk to, Edmonton. That's a bad sign.
Well, yeah, whatever happens, I think it's going to be close. And I would say in that respect, it's unpredictable.
It's gonna be like the Liberal election, a squeaker.
Yes, that's right. What do you think is going to What do you think is going to happen in that by-election in Toronto tonight? Do you think the Conservatives will get it, or do you think the Liberals will stay safe?
It's a squeaker, man. It's not, if whoever wins, it's not going to win by much.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real tight race, right down to the line there. They'll probably have to do a recount.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's gonna be a fun game.
Where can people watch it tonight, John? Because I know some people are saying, "Oh, I can't find it." Where are they broadcasting this? Where can
let me
you
see if City TV has it. Usually City TV. Oh, come on, my box is not working again. Oh my God.
Bell, the evil Bell. Bell.
Is this the right box? Maybe it's the wrong box. Let me try this box. Yeah, it's wrong. Okay, it's on City TV, Channel 7. You can get that on with an antenna. Those antenna.
Yeah, it depends what city you're in or where you live, but yeah.
It's on CBC. It's on CBC.
That's Rogers.
City TV.
Yeah.
So those two channels you can get free air.
Yeah.
So anybody.
We're not far off. I want people to keep watching our program here, but I promise we won't stay on for the duration of the game, and we will.
I'll have the. I'm watching your program
and the hockey game,
and then I'm gonna watch Shadow. You know who's on Shadow tonight?
No idea.
Your favorite guy, Chris Sky.
Oh, yes.
He's got some interesting news to talk about, I heard. I don't know what he's got to talk about. I think it's about that, what's that guy with, that Trudeau with that name, he's, what's that name again?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trudeau didn't like that name that they made up, that fake name, Gazalon or Dazalon.
Diagolon.
That's what Chris Guy's going to talk about.
Oh, I know. Well, I know what he's going to say about that, but whatever, man. Anyway, that's for another time.
That's after your show, though. It doesn't affect you. That's why I like you. You're on prime time, and then I watch Shadow, and then I watch this other show, and I go to bed.
All right. Well, John, we're a little tight for time tonight because Dragon's in the back.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, good luck. I hope you don't lose your money, but I want Edmonton to win, so I'm torn here. You have great...
I want Edmonton to win too, but I don't want to lose my money. So, okay, right. Rick, we'll talk to you again.
Thanks, John. See you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Good.
Okay, I wrote a poem about the Oilers girl, Booby Girl. I wrote a poem. Do you want to hear my poem before we go to Dragon? I'm going to share my poem. It just, I figured, I have to do it now before the game starts, just in case they lose. Okay, so let's put up a picture here of Kate. There she is. That's, all know the story. She flashed her boobies, and then now she got a photo shoot, and she ended up in Playboy in time for Game 6, and she's gone viral online. And everybody keeps talking about her, so I wrote a poem. And I said, she scares me. If I was young, single, and in the market, I'd be afraid of her. She's just too much woman for me. But anyway, maybe not. I don't know. Here's my poem. A tribute to Kate and the Edmonton Oilers. In Edmonton's heart, where the Oilers fight, a fan named Kate shines in the night. With passion and pride, she's the team's good luck charm. Her spirit and smile, a warm embrace, a charm. From 3 down in the series, hope seemed to fade, but the Oilers fought back, their promise remade. Game 7 now looms. The world holds its breath as Edmonton battles for glory, for their fans, for success. Kate, the booby girl, famous and bold, with a flash and a cheer, her story retold. She turned down the offers, the bright lurid lights, to stand by her team in their fiercest of fights. Playboy embraced her, their newest star, but it's the Oilers' journey that's taken her far. Her heart beats in rhythm with each slap shot and save. In the stands, she's a beacon, her spirit so brave. Tonight the arena will roar with delight as Kate leads the cheers on this pivotal night. The Oilers and Panthers in a duel to the end. With Kate in their corner, they've got a true friend. Her jersey and bra lifted one fateful game, brought fame and fortune, but more than just fame. She's the heartbeat of Edmonton, the pride of the town, as the Oilers strive for the ultimate crown. So here's to the Oilers in blue, orange, and white. May they triumph with valor, with courage, with might. And here's to Kate, their unwavering fan. In the heart of the battle, she's the ultimate stand. Tonight, the world watches. History in the making. With Kate in the stands, there's no chance of breaking. For the Oilers and Kate, this journey's been long. Together they stand, forever Oilers strong. Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. Go, Kate, go. I will be right back with the dragon. Don't go away.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, and breaking news announced just very, very short. This is totally fresh. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has announced that he plans to plead guilty to a conspiracy charge this week as part of a plea deal with the U.S. Justice Department, and this will allow him to go free. He has been in jail for for 5 years in a British prison. All this according to court documents. Assange has been charged with criminal information, which typically signifies a plea deal with conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information, according to these court documents. Now, a letter from the Justice Department official Matthew McKenzie to U.S. District Judge Ramona Maglona of the U.S. District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands. It says that Assange would appear in court at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, or that's 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, to plead guilty, and says that the DOJ expects Assange will return to Australia. That's where he has his citizenship after these proceedings. So Assange is going to go free. He'll plead guilty to that charge, and then the United States Department of Justice will allow him to go free. So those American charges against Assange, of course, stem from one of the biggest publications of classified information in U.S. history. It took place during the first term of the Obama presidency, starting back in late 2009. According to the government, the government alleges that he conspired with Chelsea Manning, who was a military intelligence analyst, to disclose tens of thousands of activity reports about the Afghanistan war, hundreds of thousands of reports about the Iraq war, as well as along with hundreds of thousands of State Department documents, cables, briefs on the situation in Guantanamo Bay, detainees, all of it coming through his WikiLeaks website. So these documents about this plea deal were filed today, in fact, just a short time ago, in the U.S. District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands. Now, he was expected to make an appearance in that court and then be sentenced to 62 months with credit for time served in the British prison. That means that with time served and those credits in hand with his plea deal, he will then be allowed to go free. In other words, he's already served his time. So he's been in that high security Belmarsh prison, which is located on the outskirts of London now, for 5 years. And he also spent 7 years in self-exile in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. So this is a huge story, and of course, international support for him from protesters ongoing all through this. We've seen massive protests globally at times. People taking to the streets, shouting "Free Assange," and opinions on this vary greatly. But I know that some people will be very, very pleased to see him finally go free. But even with this, I can guarantee you there will be a lot of people out there who will simply not be satisfied, because they will argue that he has been innocent all along, and therefore, in their view, he has been the victim of an injustice. But with the guilty plea, he now gets to go home. Never know, we might have more to say about that in the days ahead, but somebody has something to say with us and share with some stuff with us right now, and that's Dragon. Let's bring him in. He's on the prowl out in Montreal, out of the Dragon's lair again, and out into this, what's left of the sunshine for the day. How are you?
I'm doing extremely great, and how are you, Maverick?
We're great, and where are you tonight, sir?
I'm at Maisonneuve Park tonight, where there's a celebration of the Saint Jean-Baptiste. And as I can probably show you if I turn my camera away a little bit, there's a lot of crowd around here. So there you go. As you can see, it's pretty crowded. And I would count probably about 300,000 people around here. tonight. So yeah, there's a lot of people. As you can see, it's packed. It's packed around this scene, and behind me also there's a lot of people in the park because it's a pretty long park here, probably about the size of five football field, and well, even more than that. I mean, it's a big real park here. So yeah, it's one of the biggest park of Montreal, and we always have some beautiful festival here in gathering.
Can you explain to people what the festival is about?
Yeah, the festival is about actually Saint Jean Baptiste, who was in, if I remember well, in 1634, were a pagan type of.
Hey, Dragon, can you turn with your back to the crowd so we're seeing the crowd instead of the porta-johns? There you go. That's a better background.
Yeah. That's me being a little bit lousier. So yeah, Saint Jean Baptiste is actually was actually a pagan celebration a long time ago, but some guys here decided that it was to be now into the Catholic Church type of faith and festivities. So here we have that now since 1835, if my memory is correct.
And so what kind of activities are on the menu there tonight? Are they food booths and music?
Yeah,
and what's going on?
There's food booths around here. There's people who's vending popcorn. Like you can see the guy there. Happy to have some customers to get his fair share of popcorn. We can have some beer around here. So, and yeah, there's a lot of good things. Like there's a bar right there under that little tent. That's a bar. So you can have a drink if you want to. And it's pretty familial. Everyone is invited of every age. So there's kids, there's balloons. You got every type of activities that you can do with a family.
Okay, and it just looks like a celebration tonight. No protesters at this one.
No, there is no protesting here. It's just proud Canadian and Quebecers enjoying themselves. And having some good festivities and some good hugs once in a while, because I mean we're all love and joy here. So yeah, just show you a blue color, because blue color is the most important color of actually the Saint Jean Baptiste. White and blue is your favorite color today.
White and blue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know, the Quebec flag is white and blue with the fleur de lis as our étendard. So yeah, this is what it is, and you got a lot of fleur de lis around here. It's full pack of blue and white, and at the end of the day, we're all the same color.
And while we've got you on the line, since it's hockey uniting Canada and the USA, what's your prediction for the Stanley Cup final tonight, Game 7?
Go Oilers, go.
There's the man. Yeah. You're a good Canadian, Dragon.
As always, you know what? I know that this is probably un-Canadian of myself. I had my Canadian Montreal T-shirt when I came in, but decided to take the Maverick shirt just for the show. So yeah, but hey, you know what? I do have my proud color around.
There you go. All right, sir. Anything else you'd like to add before we sign off tonight?
Well, you can always follow me on Twitter. You can follow me also on YouTube. It's the One Rising Dragon. Dragon on Facebook. And also, I wish you all a great Saint Jean Baptiste, a beautiful night, and I want you all to stay positive. Always look at the bright side because we Maverick always look at the bright side. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, sir. Great coverage. Thank you, Dragon. We'll talk to you later. And there you go. Dragon on the scene in Montreal. Stay with me. More ahead right after this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
With you. So the polls will be closing shortly in that Toronto-St. Paul's by-election. Now that has been a Liberal stronghold in Canada. The Midtown riding solidly held by the Liberals for over 3 decades. However, polling has shown right up until the end here that the Liberals may be in a bit of trouble. They've been polling very, very low compared to where they traditionally have been. And the Conservatives are nipping at their heels. Not a good sign for the Trudeau Liberal government. So you have Leslie Church. She's a former Liberal staffer. She's running to replace former Liberal MP and Cabinet Minister Carolyn Bennett. Bennett retired from politics after serving that riding for 26 years. And Church is up against Conservative candidate Don Stewart, who is a former Bay Street worker, whose first venture into politics tonight could be, well, let's just say very consequential. If he manages to flip that riding blue, then what we're looking at here is not just an upset, but maybe a prelude of things to come. That would put not only the Conservatives in a very attractive position heading into the next election, but it would put a lot of pressure on the Prime Minister, on Trudeau, to step aside as leader and make way for someone new to lead the Liberals into the next federal election. We shall see tonight. Polls should close shortly and we'll get a better handle on where things are at. Now, you may remember that Naheed Nenshi. Remember that name? He's the former mayor of Calgary. Well, this past weekend on Saturday, he became the new leader. He was elected the new leader of the NDP, the New Democratic Party of Alberta. Now, I remember him vividly from the pandemic. And I have to be quite honest, I'm editorializing, just to let you know that I'm injecting some opinion here. I didn't like what he did during the pandemic. He said some pretty nasty things at times about people who didn't want to get the thingy in the arm. And I think a lot of people have forgotten about that, but maybe not so much the NDP. If you're a New Democrat, chances are you wouldn't share the views that we espouse here about freedom, freedom of choice, bodily autonomy. But I certainly haven't forgotten. While some people are embracing him as some sort of new hope for the future, he's got an uphill battle in Alberta, and he's forging some sort of a new relationship too, I think, between the province of Alberta and the federal NDP and Jagmeet Singh. But I have not forgotten what he had to say during the pandemic. I just play this little clip from the past for to just spark a little memory.
The light at the end of that tunnel. And by the way, those people at those anti-mask protests, let's not kid ourselves, they're not people who need to eat. They are people who are marching in thinly veiled white nationalist, supremacist, anti-government protests, and they don't deserve the light at the end of that tunnel. And by the way, those people at those anti-mask protests, let's not kid.
You don't need to eat. Yeah, I remember what it was like during the pandemic. I won't forget, and you shouldn't either. Then she, now the new leader of the Alberta NDP. Keep that in mind, folks, when they have the next provincial election and people are challenging Danielle Smith there. And, it's so typical. People were upset with the NDP government of Rachel Notley. Then you had the provincial election. People cheered because Danielle Smith was elected of the United Conservative Party in Alberta. And it didn't take much more than maybe a week. And people started to complain about her. That's the way politics works. But I'll tell you, I'll take Danielle Smith any day of the week before that guy. Just listen to what he had to say. Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister of Canada and Finance Minister, announced today that the government is looking at possibly imposing a surtax on Chinese electric vehicles. Well, welcome to reality, Chrystia Freeland. And thank you for finally acknowledging what I've been telling people all through this foray into a new electrified future for the auto industry. I've been saying the government-driven transition into EVs and EV production, it's not going to go quite the way the government is planning because you have so much more global competition. This is not the early 1900s where, you had a lot of private companies jockeying for position and a future into the Industrial Revolution. No, this is entirely government driven, using, I don't know how much, I can't calculate it all, between all the subsidies at every stage of production and consumption of these EV vehicles. I'm surprised they're not just giving the cars away to people, since we're all paying for them with our tax dollars anyway. But here she is. She held a news conference today. She's going to have a period of consultation, which begins early next month. And yes, she says that they're looking at a surtax because she's accusing China of unfair business practices when it comes to the production, distribution of electric vehicles and possibly components. She says when it comes to even the parts for EVs, nothing is off the table. The Canadian government is going to be looking at everything. Already the government is realizing that even with all of the subsidies and grants being given to the parts manufacturers, the auto companies, the big auto companies, to set up new factories, new facilities, and to retool existing facilities, to convert from gasoline-driven vehicles to electric vehicles. The government is now realizing that they've got a big problem because China is so far ahead of the curve because they already control so much of the market. And you see the expansion of Chinese automotive brands like BYD, for instance. Even Vietnam is producing electric vehicles. There's huge global competition. Freeland today in this news conference accused China of moving toward an intentional oversupply of electric vehicles globally. Yeah, that's because they want to supply the whole world. They want them all to come from China. They want to put the North American auto industry out of business. Here's Freeland talking about it.
Y compris les normes du travail et de l'environnement.
Here we go, English coming up.
Que les pratiques déloyales et non commerciales. The consultation we are launching will help us reach a solution that strongly defends Canada's national economic interests, that strongly defends all the amazing, smart, hardworking people who are here with us today, and the tens, the hundreds of thousands of others. We are absolutely determined to protect our world-leading automotive sector, and first and foremost, our amazing automotive sector workers. I want to conclude by highlighting some great news for Canadian workers. Last week, the Fall Economic Statement Implementation Act and the Budget Implementation Act received royal assent. These are important pieces of legislation that have put into effect, that have passed into law some key economic measures that are supporting investments in your industry. These include 4 of our major investment tax credits. They are now law. We have delivered new investment tax credits for clean hydrogen, clean technology manufacturing, and carbon capture, utilization, and storage. These are really important tax credits. They're on the books. Just in our conversation this morning, we discussed all of the investments our government has already made in the automotive sector. These tax credits underpin those investments, and they are going to be magnets that pull in even more investment, provided, of course, we defend the industry against unfair competition.
Well, I think it actually shows that the government is recognizing already that they have a problem because of economies of scale, access to international markets. China is eating the Canadian auto industry's lunch, and also the U.S. auto industry's, the North American auto industry's lunch. That's because they've got the components, they have the technology, that a lot of it, because it's been available from Tesla, developed by Tesla with government grants, and then given away because of the mentality that a lot of the stuff should be open source. I was critical of that all the way along too. But that's the reality. That's where we're at. And just, they're positioned. They're already positioned and they've got momentum. North America is lagging behind. And China is already tapping into European markets with their vehicles. This is not going well, and we've barely even started. And the dealers here in North America are telling the auto companies, tap the brakes on this. We can't sell the inventory we have right now. Don't send us anymore. We're not going to buy anymore to put on our lots. And EV prices are under downward pressure. Even in other markets, including the Chinese market, the prices of EVs is on the decline. Tesla has been forced to slash their prices in markets around the world, including in China. And that is because of the competition, especially from Chinese automakers. But it isn't just a Chinese auto industry that is the threat. It's the global auto industry, because even in China, companies like BYD, they're actually global in nature. BYD, one of the biggest shareholders, Warren Buffett. Think about that for a minute. An American investing in a Chinese auto company. It's the production is in China, but it's not really just a Chinese company. It's a world company, and that's what China is focused on. It, but China is controlling it. So it's a whole new ballgame out there, Christia. But I'm glad you're finally beginning to open your eyes. Just a little bit too much money spent, and the action coming just a little bit too late, I would say. Hopefully they can turn things around. Our entire economy is riding on this, folks. If they can't make this work, if there isn't a payoff at the end of this, and there isn't some sort of profit, we're all on the hook for a very, very, very big bill if these auto plants, after the conversion and construction phase, if they don't become productive and pay us back a dividend as a society, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
All right, I'm back. And this is probably of interest to you guys, so I'll tee this story up right now. We've talked about this before, and I'm sure that you've been aware of these monoliths, like this one, that have been popping up actually around the world. Kind of weird. Like something out of 2001, A Space Odyssey. Like, you know, almost like a tribute to the old Georgia Guidestones. Where'd they come from? Where are these things coming from? Nobody seems to know. Very, very mysterious. Well, this one in Nevada apparently has now been removed. The authorities took it down. Police out there saying they still don't know how it got there, out in the middle of the desert. But it was put up just, about a week ago or so? So anyway, cops went out there and they made quick work of taking it down because of public safety and environmental concerns, they said. It revived a pandemic-era mystery that captured the public's imagination when those shiny monoliths evoking that memory of the Stanley Kubrick movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. These things began popping up all around the world. They're still out there, a lot of them. But police are saying that the monolith in question here is definitely not from another world. It seems to be made of some kind of steel. It's very shiny, but the whole thing seems weird. Authorities saying that it was installed illegally on federal land, which is out there established to protect bighorn sheep and some rare plants and desert tortoises and the like. So the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, which is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, is the largest wildlife refuge outside of Alaska and can cover the state of Rhode Island twice. It's big. I'm not sure how much damage that 12-foot high monolith really might be doing to the environment, but I guess maybe they're concerned about huge numbers of people going out to look at it. I don't know. They're just saying that, quote, this poses a danger to you and the environment. That from Las Vegas police. I don't know how, but I guess maybe, I don't know. That's what they're saying. Any excuse to take it down, I guess. Where did it go? We don't even know. Its whereabouts now is being kept a secret. Just adding to the mystery. Where else have we seen these things? All kinds of locations. They've got, let me just kind of take a look here. So yeah, the first one was discovered back in November in a remote desert canyon in Red Rock Country in Utah. So one was found there. People had no idea where it came from, what it was. Then where else did we see one? So that one, this one was in Nevada. There have been other ones around the world too. There was one in Romania. Pretty crazy. What are they about? Nobody really seems to know. I would say there's a good possibility that this is some sort of a exercise in art. Sort of like not a flash mob, but a flash monolith gathering. I don't know. It's freaking some people out. I think it's one of those things that will define our era, our generation. Well, not my generation. I'm from a previous generation. I'm just an old guy, but people will remember this. This will shape the memory of, be one of those things that shapes our future memories of this decade. I'll put it to you that way. It's just one of those crazy things that people will always remember. RFK Jr. Nobody hears much about his running mate, Nicole Shanahan. And I find this a little bit perplexing. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Shanahan, I haven't really seen her out campaigning much. She doesn't seem to get much media attention, but she does do some sort of an online podcast called Back to the People. I came across this one, and it seems to be getting some attention, but I'm not sure how beneficial to the campaign this sort of subject matter is. Why is she spending so much time on this? She's talking to a guest on this program about sunscreen. And I know that she's all about health and wellness and holistic alternatives to the pharmaceutical industry, much like RFK Jr. But here she is, she's talking about tallow sunscreen as an alternative to, the regular commercial stuff. I'm just going to run a little bit of it, and then you're just going to give you a little food for thought, because I think it's just a weird thing for her to be focused on.
Why in the world would the Wall Street Journal reach out to you and ask you why you don't wear sunscreen?
Yeah, I think that is because this curtain, this narrative is being pulled, and people are starting to see, wait, I've been told to put on this chemical junk that is filled with these mystery ingredients that, lead to potential pregnancy risks, are leading to DNA damage. I've been told to put that on, and then people will start seeking other alternatives. I make a tallow-based sun balm that is a mineral sun balm that is the healthiest alternative to these chemicals. And so when people start seeking that, that puts a hole in the pocket of Big Pharma. And what's so interesting is I got flagged I got fact-checked for my response to the Wall Street Journal. I had my scientific findings right in front of me. I had all my papers. I was reading them. I was sharing them, and they fact checked me. And so I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I'm presenting scientific research, and they fact checked it. So I went and checked out their fact check and what research they had. Well, it come to find out in some of the research they were using to back up their fact check, those scientists were in cahoots with Johnson & Johnson. So you can figure out where scientists have gotten funding, who they've previously been representatives for. And I did that on one of these articles. The scientist had been a representative for Johnson & Johnson and other pharmaceutical companies. So I found that really peculiar. Okay, it kind of just all goes back to the money. Again, I'm no expert, but that's how I am taking these things.
There isn't much time between now and the election in November. And RFK Jr. has a lot of ground to gain if he's going to be president, if he's going to win the election, especially if he's not allowed to debate in this upcoming debate and he's not on the stage, right? And there she is talking about this stuff. I don't think you can, talk about it if you want. I'm not criticizing the subject matter. If that's a concern for you, fine. But I'm just saying that where the campaign is concerned, that ain't going to get you elected, I don't think. I don't think so. So at this point, I'd say that Nicole Shanahan is VP. She's just probably going to remain sort of in the background, influencing things on the campaign in a kind of an inconsequent, well, not in a public way, because she's just not resonating with the people. Not at this point, anyway. Not if she just keeps doing stuff like that. Just my opinion, for what it's worth. Spinning your wheels there. Anyway, debate's coming up. A lot of talk about it. A lot of talk about Trump's potential running mate. Trump has been saying, I'd like to have RFK Jr. in the debate, but his numbers aren't good. Just doesn't have good numbers. I don't know if he's sincere about really wanting him on the stage or not. Probably not. He probably doesn't really want RFK Jr. to have the spotlight at all. My view is that he's going to take more votes from Trump than he will from Biden. In fact, I think there's actually a real danger there for Trump. I think his presence in this election might actually result in Biden being reelected. Because I think it's very close. As John just said, I think it's going to be a squeaker. Kind of like the last one. Back to Canada now, and what's going on with that capital gains tax increase? I guess accountants have been working overtime trying to deal with clients who have been coming in almost in a panic because of these changes that the federal government has decided to make to the capital gains tax. The changes have received a lot of pushback from business groups and from doctors because of the way it's going to affect doctors in particular. Because this is going to increase the inclusion rate for taxable gains from 50 to, get this, 67% for anybody that realizes more than $250,000 in capital gains in a year. So if you have a cottage, for instance, and you sell it, and then you've had that thing for any particular, I don't know, 20 years, whatever, and you realize a capital gain because you bought it years ago, it was only worth this much, and now because of inflation and other economic factors, now it's worth this much. The government is going to take 67% of the capital gains portion of the total sale. That's a lot of coin. tapping into the collective wealth of the nation, actually, of the people. So they've been going to accountants and accountants across the country, working overtime. A lot of people trying to shift their investments around, liquidate some assets before the capital gains tax increase takes effect. I know that immediately upon the announcement of this, some people put their cottages on the market, tried to dump them. So it automatically has put some downward pressure on the value of cottages. It will be a big disincentive for people to purchase things like cottages, because it means that they become a much less attractive investment. They become more of a consumable, a consumer type of item or product rather than any kind of an investment. Doesn't the capital gains tax increase does not apply to your primary residence, but if you have a second residence or a cottage or any other kind of investment that might give you a capital gain over time, you're going to pay through the nose now. And that means that people will try to find other ways to protect their money, shelter it against in legal ways, and probably illegal ways as well, against that that tax increase. So good luck to all those accountants out there who are working OT. Somebody else who's got some accounting problems is Alex Jones. A U.S. bankruptcy court trustee is planning to shut down InfoWars and liquidate the assets to help pay for that $1.5 billion judgment against Jones and InfoWars. He owes that money for, I guess, the ruling that that said that he called the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting a hoax. That's his penalty for doing that. So there was an emergency motion filed yesterday in Houston. Trustee Christopher Murray indicated publicly that he intends to conduct an orderly wind down of InfoWars, the InfoWars parent company, and liquidate the inventory of the company. So that would, I guess, include any of the video production equipment, maybe the inventory, like all the vitamins and things that Alex Jones sells, any merchandise, and I would think even the digital assets, maybe even things like the InfoWars name, the InfoWars website, the InfoWars domain name, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. So stay tuned on that one. But this is beginning to pick up steam. It looks like now some of this might actually come to pass. We saw Jones, of course, go online, what was it, about a week and a half ago, and say that the feds were coming in to shut him down, and he made a big deal out of it, and he actually gave us sort of those fake tears and the big dramatic performance online, and people were donating tons of money at the time. And I kind of wonder where all that's going to lead. It's not over yet. InfoWars still on the air tonight. Still broadcasting online. Yeah, it's a digital age, not just for the media, but also for car dealerships. And over the past week, car dealerships across North America have been hit with major disruptions because of a gigantic cyber attack. It was focused on a software company called CDK Global. And this company provides software for thousands of auto dealers across the United States and Canada. These cyber attacks came back to back last Wednesday, led to an outage, and that has continued to impact operations. Now, for car buyers, for even people going in for service at dealerships. It has been a very disruptive experience. I know that last weekend, even continuing into today, people going in for service have experienced serious delays in getting their vehicles fixed. I know of one person in particular who gave me a firsthand account of going into a dealership to get an air conditioner repaired. And it took all day simply because they couldn't call up the warranty information in the computer. And so it caused a bottleneck in the entire system. Dealers are working around all of this. They've kind of pulled out paper and pens, and they have started to write things down on paper with ballpoint ink pens, the old-fashioned way to work around a lot of these problems. In total, you're talking about 15,000 retail locations across North America, serviced by CDK and their software and their services online. Now, these dealerships are finding ways to continue to sell cars, but things are a little bit slower. And I would say this is not just a sign of the times, it's a sign of the times during war, because I think that what we're seeing here is disruptions related to not just online criminals and bandits, but even foreign governments fueling some of this stuff too. Hard to pinpoint exactly who's responsible for an attack like this, but we've seen a variety of cyber attacks like this, even against, most recently, hospitals here in Canada. All the hospitals in this area were shut down for a time because of a cyber attack that tapped into their systems, making it impossible for hospitals to access patient records. And that meant that they could not proceed confidently with a lot of procedures that put lives at risk. This, on the auto industry side, is actually putting our economy at risk, and it is exposing serious vulnerabilities, not just for our economy, not just for our industries, but for our governments, for our entire country. Very serious stuff indeed.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, has doubled down on his claims that the United States has been holding back on weapons deliveries for Israel as the war in Gaza continues to drag on. Now, the Biden administration has been denying that. And when Netanyahu first made that claim on social media on a post on X, the Biden administration took offense to it. They canceled the trip, actually, a meeting was supposed to take place with Israel in response, which flies in the face, really, of some people who claim that it's Israel that wags the tail, that wags the American dog. I'm not so sure. And I don't know that the Biden administration is really truly behind what Netanyahu is doing. And I don't think that they're really necessarily truly behind Israel either. I think they're kind of playing both, Biden's playing both sides. But I think that his support for Israel is disingenuous at times. I think that was the case as well with Obama. So yesterday, Netanyahu told his cabinet that there was a dramatic drop in U.S. weapons about 4 months ago. He wasn't specific about some of the details, but he went on to say that certain items arrived sporadically, but the munitions at large remained behind. So with that statement, it appears he is doubling down on his position with regard to this, and of course that is not going to sit well with the Biden administration. This will just inflame things even more. And I think it will put Israel into an even more precarious situation. I think Israel is already in trouble because they're losing the war in the court of public opinion. They've lost international support when they went into Gaza because they went in so heavy. I could see that one coming, and here we are. Monitor that one very closely, folks. Without the United States, Israel is in grave danger. If that relationship is not nurtured, I think you've got a true existential threat to the future of Israel as a nation state. Now, I had said that we were going to have a special guest on tonight, and I didn't tell you who it was because I said I didn't want to jinx it. I don't like to sometimes say that we're going to have somebody on because it so often doesn't work out. And indeed today, it did not work out. So I'm glad I didn't tell you who it is going to be. I can only tell you that the person who was supposed to be on, the wires got crossed. That person should be on in 1 week, next Monday. And it should be a real good interview. So I'm looking forward to that. Don't worry, the content is not dated, so we will still have current information for you with regard to that. But I'll tell you this, I think we're going to have a really big interview tomorrow night with somebody else, and I'm not going to tell you who that one is either because I'm afraid that one might not come together. But if it does happen, I think it will be very informative for you, and it's another one you are not going to want to miss. So I hope that it does happen. I'm pretty confident this one will. So I'm looking forward to doing that and sharing that with you tomorrow night, right here on the Maverick News Channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what we are doing here, you can support the program by donating at maverickdonations.com. Let me put that up on the banner for you. We are entirely supported by you guys. Maverickdonations.com. And we do need your help because, as I say, we are demonetized on YouTube entirely. We're kicked off Facebook for life unless we find a workaround on that, and I'm actually still working on the legal aspects of that. Or you can donate over here too at freedomreporters.com. That's where most people donate. Appreciate the support that we've been getting from you guys. Yeah, you're the ones that determine whether we stay on the air or online, as it were, because you're the ones who make it happen. You keep the lights on here. and keep us broadcasting. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. You know the drill. Subscribe over on Rumble. We need to keep growing over there. And yeah, hit that notification bell on YouTube if you do subscribe on YouTube. It looks like we're back on in full force on YouTube, all of our YouTube channels. Our 7-day ban now lapsing for the violation of talking about something about, the thingy in the arm, but we weren't even talking about it. So I guess maybe we must have upset them about something else. I don't know. So I think we've kind of covered all the bases tonight. There were a couple of stories that I mentioned in the headlines off the top. But we'll maybe get to those tomorrow if you want more information on them. I just wanted to I'll just mention again that story about Hirsch Goldberg Poland, American citizen who was taken hostage by Hamas October 7th. Video of that hostage taking has been released. I've wrestled with whether we should even show it. It's extremely violent. Part of his arm is missing because of what they did to him on October 7th. It's so graphic, I'm afraid to show it to you. Yet at the same time tonight, his family making a public statement saying that they want that video shared with the world so that people can fully understand what has been happening to him. All this happening as the information war rages. I may have more to say about it tomorrow night. I'm not going to show you the video. If you want to see it, you can find it online. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for people to look at it, but I'm not going to show it to you here tonight. I need to give that more thought. I don't want to be rash about it. And if you really want to see it, you can find it anyway. And what else did we talk about here tonight or not talk about? I guess I was going to comment more about this missile attack, the ATACMS missiles that Russia says resulted in 5 deaths on the beach in Sevastopol in Crimea. We're just going to follow up a little bit on it. A lot of media attention, especially from the Russian side, focused on that yesterday, plus the attacks up in Dagestan, characterized as terrorist attacks. There was more information, a little bit more coming out about that, but not a significant amount at this point. And I'm finding that story is actually, both of those stories, kind of not getting as much traction in the news cycle as a lot of people thought. And that was actually going to be my focus of tonight's discussion on that, but I'm going to save maybe that for tomorrow night as well. Because I think it will actually be a better conversation if we let another 24 hours pass so that we can get more facts, more information, a better context, a better perspective on exactly what is going on with all of that. But again, big interview tomorrow night. Please come back 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Really appreciate you guys spending the evening with us here. We're going to cut it short so that you guys can go and watch that hockey game. And we'll see if the Cup comes home to Canada after, about 3 decades, or if it goes to Florida, which is no place for the Stanley Cup. It just doesn't seem right. It just never gets cold enough down there. They don't have nearly enough snow to even be playing hockey, let alone win a Stanley Cup. But hey, we'll see what happens tonight. And we'll update everything with that Toronto by-election tomorrow evening as well. We'll know by then who has won that riding in Toronto St. Paul and what that might mean for the upcoming federal election in Canada. Love you guys. Catch you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.